Hello again. Let's talk about how you can authenticate and authorize users to access AWS resources. There are three use cases when you need to provide access. The very first use case is when the user accessing AWS accounts and resources. An example of this use case is when you enable single sign-on your AWS account to let a developer log into AWS account using credentials from your corporate identity to create and run AWS Lambda function. Another example is you are building an internal reporting portal hosted on AWS that only allow internal employees of your company to log in and see the reports. Since your companies already have existing corporate identities on an Active Directory, you can federate this Active Directory with Amazon Cognito. The second use case would be allowing resource accessing other resource. To allow your application to access AWS services, you need to be able to validate the identity and permissions of your application resources. For example, your containerized application run on Elastic Kubernetes services need to do an API call to query table in AWS NoSQL database DynamoDB. You will need to securely validate the API call and manage permissions for action that your app is allowed to perform on DynamoDB table using short-term credential called IAM role. Using roles help you follow security best practice for granting least privileged access and enable you to manage fine-grained permission for your AWS services and applications. IAM roles enable you to grant the resources access to data without distributing password or API key or hard-coding credentials in your source code. And the last use case is to allow end users accessing the application. Let's say you're building a great, very fun social media application to help end user create a New Year resolution and have their friends and family celebrate their progress. Your application will need to manage user sign up and sign in, and you also need to enable multi-factor authentication when users sign in. Now that we have discussed three use cases, the next videos will dive into 5 available AWS services for identity, directory, and access. See you soon!